Hi, my name is Katarina Sullivan and I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. It has been a couple of months since I have done a video, and for those of you who don't follow me on social media, a bit of an update that I am going through some health battles at this time. But I received a message from someone yesterday on Instagram saying that they'd seen my videos and they thought they were really informative and to keep up the good work, and it was just a little bit of inspiration I needed to record a video this week, given it's been a big week in Australian politics, and share with you all a little bit about what the next month or so is going to look like in Australia's political system. So as I'm recording this video, we are in the middle of election 2019, which I am super excited about. It's going to be a big few weeks in politics in Australia, as political candidates across the country will be campaigning tirelessly to win your vote on May 18th. I'm hoping over the next few weeks that I'll be able to bring you some videos with information about what different political parties are promising as part of their election campaign, and break down some of the information that might be a bit confusing, as well as keep you updated with the timeline of what's happening with the election. So let's start with when and how the election was called. Scott Morrison, the current Prime Minister of Australia, drove to the Governor-General's house and called for the election. Now, the Prime Minister has to ask the Governor-General to dissolve Parliament, and that is when the issue of writs happens. Now, a writ is a document that goes to the Electoral Commissioner to say that an election needs to be called, and the writs get returned when the final vote has been counted and a decision has been made as to which politicians have been elected to government. So a few things happened on the 11th of April. Firstly, the Prime Minister visited the Governor-General to call for the election, and the Governor-General responded saying that yes, he's happy to dissolve Parliament. Secondly, after the Governor-General dissolved the 45th Parliament of Australia, he issued a writ to the Electoral Commissioner for the election of the House of Representatives, all 151 members this year because we've got a new electorate. And the Governor-General also issued a writ for the election of the senators for the Australian Capital Territory and the Northern Territory. Now, the state governors need to issue writs for the election of the senators for the states in Australia. The third thing that happened on Thursday, April 11th, was that applications opened for postal votes. So if you're unable to get to a polling booth location at all, either for early voting or on the day of the election, you're eligible to apply to the Australian Electoral Commission for a postal vote. So this might be if you're overseas or if you're just unable to make it into a polling booth. And you can visit the AEC website, which is aec.gov.au, to find out more information about postal voting, and there is an eligibility criteria that you can check out on their website. So what's going to happen next week? Well, on the Thursday, the 18th of April, it will be the close of rolls. So this is the last day to update your details in the AEC system by visiting that website that I mentioned earlier. And this is really, really important to do. Voting is compulsory in Australia, and I know that there are some people that don't vote, but more than the fact that it's a legal obligation in this country to vote, it's really a chance for you to voice your opinion about the leadership of our country. And that's why I encourage everyone to make sure their details are registered so that they can get out on May 18th and vote for the person that they want to see representing them in the House of Representatives and the party that they want to see leading their state in the Senate. After that, on Sunday the 21st of April, it will be the close of bulk candidate nominations. So bulk candidate nominations are for the bigger parties that have all of their candidates for a state or territory that they put in all at once, so it makes their lives a lot easier. Then on Tuesday, April the 23rd is the close of all candidate nominations. So these are for some of the smaller parties and the independent candidates. The next day, the AEC will declare candidate nominations, so that's Wednesday, April 24th. So you will know who the official candidates who are standing for your electorate will be. Now on Monday, April 29th, early voting commences. So nothing much happens in terms of the voting process between the 29th of April and May the 15th. And May the 15th is when the applications for postal voting close. So you need to know by May 15th whether or not you're going to be able to vote on May 18th. Then comes the magical day of May 18th, where you will get to go to a polling place to vote between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Postal votes are counted if they are cast before 6 p.m. on election day and are returned within 13 days of the election day. The counting will be going on way past May 18th, but there should be a good idea of who will win the election by the end of the weekend. There could be a possibility that the election is so close that they're not able to call who's won until the votes have officially been finished counting. The very last day for the writs to be returned by the electoral commissioners is the 28th of June. So we should know way before then who's won the election, but the very last day for the writs to be returned is June 28th, and that will conclude the electoral process for 2019 for the federal election. So as I said earlier, over the next few weeks I'm hoping to come out with a couple of more videos on what's actually happening in terms of political parties and their campaign promises. Of course, the budget came out last week, and which is of course early given that the election is going to be in the middle of when the budget is normally announced. So that was sort of used as a bit of a campaign platform for both parties in terms of the coalition using their budget promise as part of their election campaign and Labour using their response as part of their election campaign. So there's already been a little bit of work being done by the political parties prior to the election even being called, but the most important thing for you to do as voters is make sure all your details are updated with the AEC, and that website again is aec.gov.au. I will be doing a video on how to fill out a ballot paper in the most unbiased way that I can. I will use fictitious names and fictitious parties because I'm not trying to put my political view across as part of these videos. I'm just trying to help you understand the voting process. So I will be doing that video in the next couple of weeks. Ballot papers can be really confusing. I remember I was so excited to vote. The first election I voted in was a couple of weeks after my 18th birthday, and all I wanted for my birthday was the election to be after my 18th so I could actually vote. And when I first got the ballot paper, it was really overwhelming. Even though I knew so much about politics, there was just so much there. So I do want to do a bit of a video on that. Make sure that you're comfortable with the layout of the paper before you go into the booth, and make sure you do all the research that you can possibly do on your candidates. So many of them are on social media, and they're really approachable. All you need to do is shoot them a DM or an email. Some of them list their mobile numbers for you to call and ask questions, and make sure you ask those questions so you know which candidates are going to be looking out for you for the next 3 years, because it's a big decision, and these are people that you can call in times of administrative crisis. I know that I've called on my MLAs for things that I haven't been able to deal with different government departments, and I've asked them to advocate on my behalf, and that's what they're there for. So the election process is really, really important. Make sure you stay engaged over the next few weeks, and I look forward to seeing you next time.